Thanks, Gannon. I think I'll just get started. I know there's some people trickling in, and this won't take 25 minutes, so I think people have plans, and let's get you to them. Better. All right. We will go right here. So, training services. This guy he's just as important as anybody in this building. Shane Siegler. He gets here about 2:40 every single day. So if your son or daughter is in a sport, or even if it's another activity and something happens, an injury, he's the guy you want to see. Would you guys agree that athletes that have worked with him, he's great. He's very knowledgeable as far as, obviously taking care of your body, but also working out. So he has good exercises and all that stuff. Some coaching changes. We have a new head girls basketball coach, and that is Bill Gottenberg. It's probably a familiar name to a lot of you. And he's moved over from Hawley to Barnesville, so he'll be our head girls coach. And the next two are Mr. Hodge. He decided this year he wanted to coach year-round. So, Mr. Hodge, where are you at? We need to give you a round of applause. Not easy to coach a fall sport, a winter sport, and a spring sport. So thank you, Mr. Hodge. A couple positions yet that we need to fill. Junior high girls basketball. An e-sport advisor, and then assistant cross-country. And obviously the cross-country one will get done as soon as we can with that season starting next Monday. So those are the three positions yet to fill. Okay, some information. Obviously, fall activity registration. Some of you may see that link. I think I have like 104 people that signed up through that. So that's awesome. That helps me make rosters, get everything ready for the coaches and myself with forms. Handbook. The handbook's posted online. So some of you brought forms tonight, which tells me you know where to look, right? You printed it, you got them here. It's on our website. It's under, I think it's quick links on the right side. It has activity forms, and they're all there. So, but the things you need, the handbook form. When you hand out or give me the handbook form, here's what it tells me. You read the handbook. You know what's in the handbook, right? So if something happens, I just have to show it to you and say, hey, you signed this. You know the rules. So double check the rules in the handbook. The Minnesota State High School League eligibility brochure. Okay, normally that's for students grades 9 through 12. And that's sports, that's one-act play, that's anything that's sponsored by the high school league. Now, it can also be 7th and 8th graders if you are participating in anything that's 9th grade or above. I know with one act, we have that. We'll probably have 7th or 8th graders that are participating, so they will need that form. And then our medical authorization form, that's for your health insurance, and that just tells us if we're away somewhere, something happens, we can have that on hand. And then physical form, a lot of you turned those in tonight. You need those every 3 years. So the easiest thing to remember, 7th grade, 10th grade. So get one before 7th, get one before 10th, you're good. A lot of people do every year. You can do that. But when you do it in the odd years, that's where things get messed up because you might forget you did it as an 8th grader, and then it's up as a junior, which is not normal. It's normal 7th and 10th. So. And then activity. This is what allows you, if you have a son that's maybe in football and baseball, let's say, and you just want to notice or get notifications about those two schedules. Well, you can sign up that way where any change I make, you get notified. Maybe it's cross-country. If you have a daughter in cross-country, same thing. Anytime I make a change on our website, you get that notification right away. So maybe it's a time change, maybe it's a location change, or maybe we're canceling something. So obviously winter, that's pretty important because we make a lot of changes in the winter with weather. But those are on the website as well. If you go under our activity forms, you'll see the quick links for that as well. All right, we already did this, didn't we? Sorry, there we go. Okay, here's some changes, and this is why we have this meeting. I was just talking to a parent back there about why we have this, because when things change, when people aren't informed, they get upset. So, some changes this year for us. Our activity fees, so 7th and 8th graders, that is going up from $50 to $75. 12th grade, or 9th through 12th graders, you're gonna go up from $75 to $100. So that's a significant change for some families. Change of pace, jazz band, knowledgeable, musical and esports will stay the same. And then our student maxes. So junior high, you have no student max. So you cannot max out. 9th through 12th graders, it's now 250. I believe it was 200 before. and then a family max is 400. So I was talking to a mom out in the hall, and they'll hit their family max by the first spring sport. So, and they have 2 daughters. So one of the daughters won't have to pay for their spring sport because they'll hit that. So that's how that works. The fee, a lot of times collected by Missy in the office, maybe their supervisor or their coach, and then sometimes it just comes directly to me. And if you do pay online, we use RevTrack. A lot of you are familiar with that. And then the fee, this is what's important about the fee, it's got to be paid before the first contest. Not before the first practice, before your first game, first meet, whatever it may be. Or first, we'll just go this way, I guess. Athletic events, so we're going to keep our prices the same. So if you're coming to a game, you're coming to a meet or anything like that, you're going to pay $6 for adults, $4 for students. Senior citizens get in free. And season passes, I have them underlined because here's another change. The adult passes used to be $50, so those are going up to $75. Student passes were $35, they'll now be $50. So that's your season passes. And then our senior citizens, obviously that stays at free, anybody for 65 and over. And then we do not charge for music concerts. So if your son or daughter's in choir, band, anything like that, you will not have to pay to get in. Some student expectations. So locker room. Obviously, we want to use locks to protect valuables, take care of your locker area, keep other schools' locker rooms clean as well. You know, in the locker room, it's tough because there's no cameras. So if you decide not to lock your locker, bad things will probably happen. How many of you have lost something probably out of your locker if you haven't locked it? Anybody willing to raise their hand? Exactly, right? Probably a nice pair of basketball shoes, a nice pair of shorts, and it's not fun going home to mom and dad to tell them, I don't know where my shoes are. Okay, behave on the bus while riding to and from events. Now, coaches, advisors, everybody does this differently, right? How they handle the bus. Some people say it's a business-like approach on the way there. I don't want to hear you breathe, essentially, right? Other people let you be loose a little bit, right? Let you chat. So it's all up to the coach. So follow the rules. Students are expected to take the school-provided transportation. Parents must make personal contact with the supervisor or coach if they are not. Now, something that's right there, it says new. This is a big deal now. So this comes from the bus company. Our school buses will no longer be picking up or dropping off students on the side of the road. This is referring to a student athlete that misses the bus, and maybe mom wants to try to catch the bus somewhere, or they want to get dropped off on the way home. I've been a part of some players that want to get dropped off. Maybe they live east of town towards Dunvilla, and instead of mom and dad driving back to the school, they wanted to get picked up on the side of the road. That is no longer a thing because of safety. So the bus company no longer wants to do that. So something for everybody to be aware of. Grades 7th and 8th, participation. That is the primary goal. And I know sometimes that can upset people, but at that age, that's what it's about. Okay? It is about participation. It's about learning the skills and getting ready for the 9 through 12. And then in grades 9 through 12, playing time is not guaranteed. Right? It's up to the coach's discretion. And obviously, the coach will have their own set of rules, whatever it is. And if you have a question about playing time, we'll cover that here in a little bit. Okay, attendance, right? So you're expected to come to school on a day of a meet, a performance, a game, all that stuff. If you're not attending school, that's going to affect, you know, if you can play or not. Exception, right? Emergency situations. There are things that come up. We get that, right? Things we can't even make up that happen, and we can work through that. But coming to school late because maybe you had a stomach ache in the morning, that's not going to work. Okay, Missy and Shelly are not going to let that fly. Because then they call me and I said, nope, we can't do that. Okay, prearranged appointments. People have appointments all the time. I get that. Let the office know. What do they ask you for when you come back? A note. Absolutely, get a note, okay? Missy and Shelly, we've I believe you went to the doctor, but if you don't come back with a note, you can't practice and you can't play. Okay, tanning. I said this last year, getting nails done or a haircut does not count. My recommendation would be get a haircut like me, then you don't have to worry about that, okay? But believe it or not, that's happened. More than likely, it's during prom season where people have random made-up appointments, but those don't count. Come back to school as soon as you can after appointment. Don't use the morning appointment to miss all the morning and then come back in the afternoon, okay? And it's a good thing they timestamp those notes. Eligibility. So we check every 3 weeks So the 3rd week and 6th week. You guys know how this works. So they'll do a grade check on a Wednesday, and then they get 1 week from that Wednesday to get that grade up. And so we call it that warning or grace period. It just runs from 3:18 or 3:15 he has on here until the next Wednesday at 3:15. Now, if they don't get that grade up, if it stays an F, they will sit and miss whatever performance it is, whatever game it is, until that's passing. And then when the grades are failing at the end of the quarter, in our handbook, each sport, each activity has a different number of games depending on how many Fs you have. So that's why you checked out the handbook. Lettering policy. Every advisor, every coach has their lettering policy. It's different. Because if you think about, you want to compare football to basketball, let's say. How many regular season games in football? 8. Regular season basketball games? 26. So how that lettering policy goes, if we base it off games, right, it's totally different. So a lot of it's based off quarters, or maybe you're in good standing with the team. You've had a positive attitude, all that stuff. Okay? It's up to the head coach as far as how that goes with lettering. So if you have a question about lettering, start with the coach. If that doesn't work, then you can come to me. Dealing with conflict. I feel like this is an issue every single year. If you don't agree with an advisor, a coach, you don't do it right after the game, event, or performance. You wait, right? You give it about 24 hours. Okay, then you try to follow up. But there is a procedure we follow here at the school. It's easy. You guys know what the first step is? Anybody? Come on. Whose job is it? If they're upset about playing time, who needs to start this conversation? Who? The player. The player asks the coach, hey, can we meet? Can we talk about this? Okay, that's the first step. If that doesn't work, mom, dad, guardian, and the head coach and the player will meet. Okay? I'm step 3. Some people come to me for step 1. And I tell them, step 1 is you talking to the coach. I can't do anything for you. Step 3 would get myself, the coach, mom and dad, and the player involved. So that is our step. Now, step 4, if it ever got to step 4, that would involve the school board and things like that. So just so you guys are aware. Okay, the Minnesota State High School League form. Okay, why do we sign this? Well, it's important because this is all athletics and fine arts. So that's the one-act play, our fine arts, music, choir, band, all the high school league stuff. This refers to you, and all the stuff you sign. It's good for 1 year. It's good for 12 months. So every year we sign it in August. You guys turn them in. It's good till the next one. There's some concussion management information on there. That's obviously very important in today's world as far as sports go. So please read through that. There is a couple sides to this. So there's that side 1 of the eligibility statement. I think that's page 11. And that's where it's signed by both the athlete and the parent. And then by signing that, you guys are acknowledging that you received this brochure and you have read it and you understand it. That's the beauty of signing that thing. And then side 2. So this is the page that I think when people send me the brochure, I send an email back saying, hey, you're missing page 12. Page 12 is that athlete, it's that health questionnaire. They still want you to do that. So it needs to be signed by the athlete and parent. And this just tells us of any health concerns that may be important for the coach to know. And then you're clearing your son or daughter for participation. So page 12 is the one that gets forgotten. And really all I need is pages 10 through 12 for the eligibility. General eligibility. So code of responsibility. The violation of a code of conduct. So this is anything like behavior, stuff like that, will result in a student being ineligible for a period of time. And this is as determined, and he's not here tonight, but I underlined it this year, by the high school principal. Sometimes it gets put on my plate, but actually Mr. Strand will decide if it is a code of conduct violation, how long you sit. So that is up to the high school principal. So in school or out of school suspension, and when you have those, no participation on those days of the suspension can take place. So if you get out of school suspension, obviously you can't participate in practice or any performances or anything like that. Mood-altering chemicals. So we're talking alcohol, tobacco, drugs, or any product used to induce intoxication. The high school league rules are as follows. Your first offense, that's 2 weeks or 2 events, whichever is greater. Okay. So if you have 2 events in 2 days, maybe like a Monday, Tuesday games, guess what? You're still going to have to sit 2 weeks because that's greater. Your second violation will be 3 weeks or 6 events. The third violation would be 4 weeks or 12 events. And then anything after that, it's 18 weeks or 1 semester. So you can see it obviously gets worse. And then Barnslow's policy. Okay, our consequences are stronger. It just adds to it. So if your first offense, it would be additional 2 weeks or 2 events, whichever is greater. This can be reduced, though, to the high school league penalty for first-time offenders if the athlete agrees to take part in a chemical counseling program that is approved by the school. A change here is that it said it used to be provided by the school. Now it used to be Mrs. Hendrickson, who worked over in the elementary, but she no longer works here. We don't offer those, so you would need to go somewhere outside of the school. The second time, that would just be an additional 3 weeks. Your third for Barnesville would be the additional 4 weeks, but remember, that's 4 weeks or 12 events from the high school league, so add another month onto that from the school, so if that makes sense. So we add the school's penalty onto that, and then penalties, understand, are cumulative, beginning with students' first participation in league activity. So if this happens to you as a sophomore, let's say you don't play any sports or anything that year, and you want to come back out as a junior, it follows you. So I'll have that in my system knowing that, hey, I'm just going to use Aiden Kent as an example. It's a good example here, right? Aiden, sorry, you got this as a sophomore, you didn't play, but because you came out this year, you have to serve it. So it doesn't go away. Okay, serving a penalty, right? Student must be in good standing academically to serve this. So if you're failing classes, well, unfortunately, you need to sit that penalty first. Then you can serve that high school league penalty. So it could be a long time. And I think I gave you a perfect example there. Okay, so that was category 1 activities. Now category 2 activities. This is all other school sponsored. So you're talking Knowledge Bowl, esports, FCCLA, school musicals, 1-act, FFA, scheduled dances, prom, homecoming, snowball, homecoming court, snowball court, etc. And those consequences for those are all listed in the handbook. So let's say you don't play any sports at all, but you're in a category 2 activity, you still will have a penalty. It's just going to be a little different just because it's maybe not as many things or many events, so it'll be just a little different penalty. So that's in our handbook. Okay, a lot of things I talk about, and you guys see this, things I put on social media. I say 20 units strong, and what I mean by 20 units strong, this is my thing, right? It's how many things I'm sort of in charge of or that fall under me. And my main purpose with this is I just want everybody in Barnesville to come together, and when we're all cheering for each other and all pushing each other, that's when we're 20 units strong. Not when we have, let's say, the volleyball team bickering with the football team to say who's better, or the golf teams arguing about who's better in the conference. That's not 20 units strong, right? 20 units strong is the volleyball team showing up to every football game, the football team showing up to the 1-act play, things like that. That's being 20 units strong. That's supporting each other. And I break down a lot of that core beliefs into this following slide. And you've seen this before. It's an acronym. It's TEAM, right? The T in TEAM is togetherness, and I won't read all of that. But we will work together and not against each other. That's the main message there. Okay, effort. We want effort all the time, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing, okay? It doesn't matter what your role is on a team, what your role is in the classroom. Okay, we need you to give good effort. And I just simplify it to this. Go from point A to point B as fast as you can. And maybe my point A to point B is different than somebody else's, but still, do what you can at the best you can. Competitive attitude, right? That's the A. Okay, mindset of a winner, right? Focus on the mental reps and game reps. As I said, everybody has a role. Okay, not everybody can start. Not everybody can have the lead performance in the 1-act. But you never know when someone gets hurt, right? You never know when it's your time. So that's the mental reps. Maybe you're not getting all the practice reps, but if you're on the side, pay attention, right? A chain's only as strong as its weakest link, so remember that. Positive attitudes only. Attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? I have that sign in my office if you want to come see it. It's pretty simple. Okay, meaningful. Everything you do and say is meaningful towards our goals. Everybody has goals. Every team, every individual, we have goals, okay? Make sure everything, every day, it's purposeful, right? Make sure you're doing something that towards your goal. So everything coaches say and coaches do, as well as players, should have a purpose. Okay, we're not just showing up to go through the motions. Being 20 units strong will not only make you better, but it's also going to make Barnesville activities as a whole, okay? And I think back to my first year as the AD, and that fall was crazy, okay? Football wins state, volleyball goes to state for the first time in 39 years. But I think what was great about those two teams is that they supported each other. Even though they may have argued initially, I think they did a little team bonding, didn't we, before? Remember that? Yeah. And then it sort of got better, right? And I think that shows that they were just all about Barnesville, what they could do. So think about that. Barnesville will remember that fall forever. Sending 2 teams to state at the same time. That's being 20 units strong. All right. Anybody ever heard me say this one before? We, not me. Okay, it doesn't get any simpler than this, right? This is what we are all about. Okay, this is what I stress to people. Okay, it is us. It's not me. It's what can I do for you. That's what this is. Okay, and I just read a book recently, and they talked about psychological safe environments. And what those are is this is just it allows students to be themselves and share how they feel. So that's something I'm going to stress with my coaches this year. I'm going to use that terminology. Okay, psychological safe environments. Do your players feel comfortable being there? Can they be themselves? Are they willing to share with you, to be honest with you, how they feel? And if you answer yes to those questions, then we have a psychological safe environment. And another thing I recently stumbled upon, okay, it's chasing influence. I'm not here to chase wins. That's not what it's about. It's chasing influence. How can we influence you? So that's something I'm going to stress to our advisors and our coaches. Chase influence. What can you teach your players? What can you teach your actors, actresses, right? What can you teach them that's going to affect them for the rest of their life? Anybody know who that guy is? Cassius Clay, someone said, that's great. What else do you guys know him as? Colin? Who's that? Muhammad Ali, all right. So here's a quote by Muhammad Ali. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth, from Muhammad Ali. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it goes back to the we. Okay, what can we do for each other? Think about that, teammates, right? Or in the one-act play or anything, choir. What can I do to make everybody around me better? Okay, it's not about you. What can you do for me? It's what can I do for you? So think about that. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. This slide's super important. This is brand new this year. Some HOL conference. So Heart of Lakes Conference, sportsmanship, rules. I know it says codes of conduct for student spectators. Let's add adult spectators into this too. No artificial noisemakers. That's pretty easy to pick out, right? No animal noises. No barking. No oinking. No mooing, right? All that stuff. No use of first names. Let's not make this personal. We live in a society where everybody knows everybody because of social media. But let's not make it personal, okay? Let's not cross the line. No comments directed at the referees. I know there's plenty of referees in this room tonight. I see some of them doing a fist pump back there. It's true. Did you know we struggle to get officials? I'm sure people know that, right? And if you don't know why, just take a hard look. Just watch a game one time and just listen to the crowd. Listen to the things that are said, and you'll understand why we struggle to get officials. Okay, no booing. I know that one will probably be hard for some people to accept, but let's be good sports here. And then no disrespectful behavior towards the starting lineup. Now this is old school. I don't think we really do this anymore, but this is, the newspaper, right? Turning our backs to the other team. And this is the HOL rules, so don't think I just made this. This is the conference. So, okay? Some reminders here. Fall start dates. So next Monday, volleyball, grades 9 through 12. You'll begin at 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the BSA and middle gyms. Now, if there's any 8th graders here that want to try out, you can. And then you'll find out the teams. I think I put Thursday. So teams will be announced on Thursday evening, but it's optional. So 8th grade girls, you don't have to try out, but you can. Football grades 9 through 12. They begin Monday, August 12th, 8 to 12. I think it'll start at the high school, and then they'll work their way to the fairgrounds. Cross country, you guys are going to start as well on Monday, and that's for grades 7 through 12. So that's a little different, just because cross country's smaller, so that includes all 7th through 12th graders. That's 3:30 to 5:30. I think you'll start right out in the commons area. Okay, 7th and 8th grade football. You guys begin Monday, August 26th, so 2 weeks later. It starts at 4. Now, Mr. Hintz, I know you're back there. I just put 4 o'clock. I think you guys just hand out equipment and meet that day. That's correct? Okay, 3:30. So 3:30, you guys can pick equipment up, and how long do you go for? An hour. Okay, so about 3:30 to 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Thank you. Practice schedules will be provided at that time too, I believe. Okay, 7th and 8th grade volleyball, you start the same day. You are Monday, August 26th, 4 to 6 p.m., and you'll be at the elementary gym. And then I have another plug here I wrote in my hand. August 19th, looks like from 9 to 12, there'll be a musical workshop for the Lightning Thief here. So for anybody that's interested in being in the fall musical, that is from 9 to noon on August 19th. There'll be a little workshop. Okay, changes this year. Last year we did YouTube. If you listen to any broadcasts we did, you probably heard me most of the time. We're going to be switching that up. We're going to be going to a huddle page. As much as that makes Jeff Nibby happy up there. But basically what came down to Huddle and YouTube. YouTube let Huddle stream their stuff for free. Now YouTube's going to charge Huddle. Huddle didn't like that, so Huddle's going to make their own thing. So I will share that. The link will be shared, and it's going to be on our school website. It'll be very easy to get to. It'll just be, instead of going to YouTube, you're going to go to Huddle now. Home game entrances, we'll still use the main door, the pack door 3, which is right out there. And then I just always write old dressing room door because that's all I refer to it as. But that's door number 10, which is over there. So those will be our entrances for games. Okay, a couple last things. Members of the Booster Club, I thought they did a really good job, you guys coming in. Booster Club's important. When you're in need, when programs are in need, that's the first place they go. And the Booster Club, most of the time, is going to say yes. They'll be there to help you out. So don't forget that. Looking for anyone interested in doing commentary for our home varsity broadcasts. Interested, please let me know. I would like to take a break. So if you know anybody that you think knows sports, knows stuff, is funny, let me know. We'd be more than willing to let them try it. I'm looking for parent volunteers for Chains Crew. We do this for all home 7th, 8th, 9th, and JV games. If interested, please let me know. And I know I have quite a few dads that are very consistent and do this, and I think they would tell you it's really fun to stand on the sideline because it's the best seat in the house. Would you agree, Matt? Kyle? Yep. Yep. So dads, if you're at the football games and you want to help out, great job for you. Okay, I'm also looking for student workers for clock. So I'm talking football games, maybe some 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade B team volleyball games, and then also may need you to record some games every once in a while if we're in a gym that doesn't have a camera. So if interested, just please let me know. Go follow me on Instagram and Facebook. That's my Instagram handle. I like to put things out. Monday we'll start doing the student interviews stuff again on Monday. And then lastly, thank you for coming. So that's it. So if you have any questions, I'll stay up here. Paperwork, if you have it for me, please get it for me. But, what? You want what? Yeah, you can go grab them. Yep, I'll get you in there. Okay, other than that, you guys may go. So thank you. What are you aiming for?